If the quality of this cutscene does not look spectacular to you, then this video game or this video may not even be for you. In case you're wondering which game am I talking about, well, stick around for the whole video and I will let you know exactly which game this is. With that said, let's get started. So, folks, welcome to another video of mine. Today we are looking at a game called Gujian 3, which is a mass 3D role-playing game developed by Aurogon Info Tech, a subsidiary of Wangyuan Shengtang. I know I'm butchering this game, the name of the developers, I'm sorry about that. Now, this is the third installment of the Gujian series and it was released on the 14th of December 2018 on Microsoft Windows, making it a PC exclusive with absolutely no availability on any of the consoles. In case you're wondering, why have you never heard of this amazing RPG? Well, although it launched in 2018, the game was only available in Chinese language and there was absolutely no translation of the UI or any English subtitles. Despite that, it has already sold more than 1.3 million copies and it even peaked at over 10,000 concurrent Steam players according to SteamDB. Now that is more than any of the Yakuza games, for your info. Now, the Gujian series is supposedly pretty popular in China already, so much so that it has even inspired and spawned its own live action series in China. But I must tell you that I was quite surprised that unlike most of those melodramatic Chinese soap operas or movies, the story and the setting of this game was pretty subtle, pretty dark, lore heavy, and surprisingly and awesomely entertaining. There's so many things that I want to talk about in this video. One of them, of course, being how gorgeous this game looks. Every single frame reeks of beautifully designed levels. I mean, this game looks so good that some of the scenes looked like it was right out of a tech demo or a tech showcase. Now, the subtle use of natural weather particles, fog, lighting, day and night cycles all stand out to make this a visual masterpiece on screen. Although the game is set in the Gujian universe, you don't really need to play any of the previous games to enjoy this one. Pretty much like Sword and Fairy 7. So let's first speak about some of the things that are almost the same as any other RPG out there. Side quests, main quests, lots of interactions between its main and supporting cast, but all of it comes together beautifully to provide a satisfying experience. What's different about this RPG is the storytelling, the relationship building, and the presentation, which makes this a truly remarkable product. A proper AAA title, which hardly did any marketing outside of China, but was still able to woo the crowds purely based on word of mouth, voluntary advertisement, just like this video of mine. Also, you get to set up your own dream area where you have to farm, fish, craft items and weapons, even build a place for you to rest. On top of it, you are rewarded for doing research with your other team members and have to keep looking after the people you employ. Yep, you heard that right. You even have to employ people in this game, like a carpenter or a blacksmith or even demons for that, and then pay them or feed them. Talk about team building and raising a family, eh? This game has it all, and that's what makes it so different than some of the other Western RPGs. And if you're wondering, does this take away from the main plot? I mean, all of this, because this can be quite heavy. Well, it has been executed so well that it does not feel like a chore while doing all of that. Instead, it adds to the main plot of the game and also to the upgrading system. I'm going to talk about that also pretty shortly. Now, if you take a look at all these screens, I must tell one information here that I was playing this game with the HDR turned on, and the result of that on screen while I was playing it may be a little different to what you may be seeing on this video, because this is obviously an extract of the screen recording. So the colors might vary a little bit, but while I was playing this with the HDR turned on, everything looked fantastic on screen. And even when it comes to, some of those reflections, etc., I'm going to talk about that with an example later on as well. But look at the reflection on the water as well. The surface of the water itself, very fluid, Very nice, and I quite like it, I mean, that's how well this game has been designed. Now, I played this game after I played Sword and Fairy 7, and coming straight from that game, this game is not as light-hearted as that one. I especially want to give credit to the lighting system here before I proceed any further, because the lighting system on this game is brilliant, spectacular. I mean, I don't know if you noticed the god rays there in the last scene, but even here, if you take a look at those god rays, phenomenal work. I mean, the developers, they've really taken their time and they've implemented the lighting system in a beautiful way, because it has hardly had any impact on the frame rates. Now, this game was comparatively better in terms of the performance. If I have to do like a direct comparison with Sword and Fairy 7, a game which has been released in 2021, this game was comparatively more stable. Now look at all these scenes, I've just kind of moved from one area to the other just to give you an idea as to how different each of these realms or each of these levels look like. And speaking of the levels, every single level has been meticulously designed, from those cherry blossom trees over to the farmer markets and the overall town or the villages. I think they felt a lot more bigger than Sword and Fairy 7, and the reason why I'm making a direct comparison with it is because it's just been a couple of weeks since I've played that game, another Asian RPG. So I think it will give you context, because a lot of people are now playing Sword and Fairy 7 because it was recently released on the consoles as well, especially the PS4 and PS5. So that's why the comparison, yeah. And speaking of comparisons, of course, there are going to be more comparisons with other games in the same genre, like Final Fantasy as well. I'm going to talk about that in a short bit. But look at the market area here. It's full of life. It's brimming with life. The characters on the side, the NPCs that is, they are pretty live. They're pretty active. And you will feel like you're a part of this world. So it's quite an immersive experience, I must tell you. And look at all those flowers set up in the side, or the kids roaming around or talking. There are even some characters that you can actually interact with. So these are those characters that will actually hand over those side quests to you. Apart from that, there are these quest boats, just like The Witcher. In fact, it kind of reminded me of The Witcher 3. So you can head up to any of these quest boats, take a look at what's on offer, and then pick up those quests, and you are rewarded for completing those quests. Like, you're given some coins, etc., or you may be rewarded by getting some extra stuff like spice or food items, all of which you can use to help yourself during battle or even to upgrade your characters. So that's quite a good thing. But overall, this game, I mean, it does a spectacular job of the lighting, especially even in this brightly lit area, this village setting. I mean, everything, the light that falls on the leaves as well, or the rooftops, it looks absolutely brilliant. You let me know in the comments section as to what you feel about this game, and if you have to make a direct comparison with Sword and Fairy 7, let me know, what you guys feel. I mean, which game do you think looks better? Sword and Fairy 7 from 2021 or this game from 2018? I mean, look at this scene as well. In fact, I would say that in certain areas this game looked better than even Ghost of Tsushima to me. I mean, that's how good this game looks. And what's really incredible about it is when you slow walk, like what I'm doing right now on screen, then you truly get to enjoy the surroundings, etc. And you get a feel of how much time has really been put into developing this game. Because even if you take a look at the surface, the rocks, etc., the texture quality, obviously it being a PC game, is excellent. I mean, the foliage, the level of foliage, that is, the grass level, etc., mind-blowing. And if you talk about ray tracing, take a look at this scene here. I mean, it is phenomenal. The quality of reflections on this game is absolutely mind-boggling. This game looks like it was actually made in, let's say, 2022. In fact, that's how good it looked in some of the scenes. Like I told you earlier on in this video, parts of this game, it makes it look like a technical showcase. That's how good this game is visually. And here in this scene, this shiny reflective surface gives you an idea as to how ray tracing is actually working, and I think ray tracing is working quite effectively. Although I am playing this on my AMD machine, and to give you reference of which machine I'm playing this on, I'm using an Asus ROG Strix G15, the Advantage Edition from 2021. And if you talk about the processor, it's a Ryzen 9 processor, I believe the 5900HX, and it's an RX 6812 GB GDDR6 graphics card with around 16 GB RAM. Now, as far as the performance that I was getting on this game, I was getting a very stable, you could say, performance on this, even though I was playing this on native 4K. So on 4K, there's a small FPS counter at the top left corner of the screen. It's very small because I was playing this through Steam. I don't know if you'll really be able to pick that up, but if you're viewing this video on a large screen like a TV or even a 32 or a 43-inch screen, then I think you will still be able to check that FPS counter. Now, for most of it, I was getting FPS like around 48 to maybe 60 FPS. In some of the scenes, I even experienced FPS of like 70 FPS. So FPS wise, this was comparatively better than Sword and Fairy 7. And even though, you know, it does have those cutscenes like the one that you're currently seeing, even in these cutscenes, the FPS slowed down to only maybe the 40s. What I did notice though, when I was slow walking in some of those areas, some of those densely populated areas, yes, the FPS did drop to the higher 30s, so like 36 or 37. But that was only when I was kind of slow walking. If I was running around the towns or the villages, it was smooth. It was 48 or, you know, maybe close to the 60. Now, even the action is pretty spot on. You know, I mean, there's a real-time action, and it's not a turn-based game. Real-time action. There's a skill enhancement system. There's a weapon upgrade system, which is pretty decent, I must tell you. And although I would have loved to see more weapons in the game, I can't really complain with what I've got in the game because everything has been executed really well. And if you're wondering if there are boss battles, well, hey, there are some really good boss battles as well. Some of those boss battles are pretty insane in terms of the difficulty level. Now, I was playing this game on the easy difficulty level, but even with that easy difficulty level, you really have to get used to, you know, what you need to do on screen, because this particular boss I really struggled with. It took me a long time to take this one down. So there are quite a lot of boss battles apart from the standard, you know, fighting with those NPCs. Some of them are really tough and you do need to upgrade your character. So make sure that you keep checking the UI so that your equipment is upgraded, your characters are upgraded, and the upgrade system is quite alright. Heck, this screen, well, they even have a card game pretty much like The Witcher 3. So in case you're a fan of card games, well, there's one thrown in for you just so that you're entertained with it as well. And it's not bad. It's all right, I would say. So, like I told you, you know, I played this game because I was looking for great Asian RPGs. So I was coming right off Sword and Fairy 7. And coming from there, you know, the theme of this game or the tone of this game is much darker and comparatively more serious. Now, it tells a great story. It has some excellently written characters like the ones that you see on screen. For instance, one of the three main protagonists, Yun Wu Yue. I am sure I'm butchering that name again, but hey, coming back to it. Now, this character, she's a deeply troubled but pure at heart demon haunt. Think of her as a dream vampire who goes against her nature to help her teammates and friends. And the main protagonist, Bei Luo, is a shadow chaser who has renounced his powers and royal lineage to live a simple life in the human realm. Now, there are different realms that this game will introduce you to. So, the main protagonist is called to perform his duty of protecting his family and people by embracing who he is and upgrading his power. And apart from Bei Luo, and Yun Wu Yue, you also have a third protagonist. Her name is Sen Ying, a much easier name, thankfully. And unfortunately, with these three characters, you only get to control Bei Luo. So, unlike Sword and Fairy 7, where you can alternate between the main characters there, here you only get to play as Bei Luo. So, you need to keep upgrading your character, but also the other characters, by the way, even though you don't get to play as them, but you still got to upgrade those characters, their equipment, etc., just so that you can keep moving forward in the game. Now, obviously, being an Asian RPG, there are going to be a lot of comparisons with the Final Fantasy series as well. But trust me, this is a great standalone game, and this can easily compete with not just the Final Fantasy series, but also a lot of those Western RPGs out there. Heck, I'll go on to say that it can even give those Western RPGs a run for its money. And I'm quite surprised. I'm greatly surprised how low profile this game has been on the global scene. In fact, one of my friends that I was talking to at church, he is an avid PC gamer. He plays a lot of PC games, especially these RPGs. And he is a Chinese, and surprisingly, he had never heard of this game, Gujian 3. So I was quite surprised. I kind of highly recommended it to him, and he's gonna pick this up maybe this week. And that's exactly what I would like to do with you folks as well. I will highly recommend this game. It's worth your time for sure. And right now you can easily get it on sale on Steam. So it's inexpensive. It's not very expensive. And compared to a lot of those Western RPGs which demand a full rate, which costs like $40, $50, I just paid less than $10 for this in India. And it's a great quality product. It's a great value for money product as well. So I will highly recommend it. Do try it out and let me know your thoughts and comments as well. Also, let me know what you think of this video, folks. If you liked it, then I would greatly appreciate it if you could hit that like and subscribe button, and also that bell icon in case you want to get notified with all my latest videos. Now with that said, it's a wrap for this one, and I'll see you lovely folks in my next video. Until that time, I'll say take care, stay safe, and may God bless you all.